My name is Franco Colavecchia. My real name is Francesco Luigi Colavecchia, but it's so Italian. And I was brought up in England, so I never felt that I was really Italian, although my parents are Italian. But I've made my living most of my life, if not as a teacher, but I've made my living as a set and costume designer, mainly in the opera world. But before I had anything to do with set design, I actually studied painting for a number of years, 4 years actually. Two of them were spent at St. Martin's Art School in London, where every day I painted every day at that particular school for 2 years. And I enrolled in the various classes that were taught. There was still life, there was figure drawing, and then there's figure life painting, and then there was 2 days, Thursday and a Friday, which had the title composition. Composition is at art school is where you find yourself painting what subject you're going to paint for the rest of your life, I assume. And I had struggled. My first year at St. Martin's was a struggle because I didn't have a voice. There were people at St. Martin's. There was a young man who seemed to dress in a black suit, vest, white shirt, dark tie, long hair he was already an impressionist painter. He was already painting painting like Monet or Manet, I think. And he was already painting quite sophisticated. It was probably like 22 years of age. I was about the same age. I was painting fronts of cafes. I was painting roads with abandoned vehicles, and then I stopped painting that. I couldn't find I couldn't find myself that whole year. There was a young woman called Gillian Whitby, and Gillian was brilliant. Her drawings were superb, much better than my drawings. She had befriended gypsies, and she used to ride horses without saddles and live with the gypsies. And she painted the gypsy people, which was something like what Augustus John had painted in the early part of the 1900s, 1915, because he was a friend of the gypsies. It was Bohemian. It was a Bohemian tradition. In my second year of painting, I was much influenced by Balthus. I painted young girls in dresses running into rooms. And I still think about those. I would like to paint it again. I did some pencil drawings and some ink drawings, not about 10 years ago, of the same subject, but I never made into a painting. I can't paint it again, but I remember when it came to the St. Martin's diploma or degree, or it was a diploma in those days. When it became to the moment to gain that diploma, we had to do an exam. It took about 3 weeks. We had to paint a still life. We painted a nude in a room with models, and then we painted our composition. That was the finale of the exam. And I looked at the question paper at my desk, and it said, your subject for this exam is the Ten Commandments. And I thought, thou shalt not steal. And so I painted my kitchen at my home in Skegness, where my father had painted the kitchen post office red. It's the red paint that the post office used for letterboxes. It's called post office red. And I drew the kitchen and I painted it red. Red cushions, red couch, red table, red walls. And I had 3 girls. I had one girl in the pantry reaching up for a jar of fruit or a loaf of bread or something that she was stealing. And I had another young woman coming into the frame of the painting, and she had got some sort of bag of something that she'd stolen. And then the third girl was on the left, like looking over her shoulder, and she had obviously got something, and we didn't know what it was. And I did this, and it was probably the best painting I've ever done to that date. And I was not a great student, but I remember getting one of the highest marks in that particular class of 1962, I think it was, and
for that painting.
For that particular painting.
When did you enroll in St. Martin's?
I enrolled at St. Martin's in September 1960.
And you were there for?
2 years.
2 years.
Prior, I'd been at Lincoln Art School in the regional art school. And at regional art school, what you did was you did lettering, you did perspective, you did anatomical drawing. So hard. Anatomical drawing using charts and books, and drawing the skeleton. We drew the skeleton in those days, and it was a 2-year course, and it was called the intermediate. If you passed this course, then you could apply to London, which I did at St. Martin's. At Lincoln Art School, they were fortunate because my very first tutor was Anton Bartel, who was a Czech painter. He had been a pupil of Kokoschka in the 1930s, and he was really, truly a Bauhaus, had been a Bauhaus student. And he had, he did book covers, he did lettering, he painted, he did everything but architecture, but he did all the art forms that the Bauhaus taught you.
Did you apply? What drew you to apply to the school in Lincoln from high school age?
Well, I didn't. Well, I did, but I had a rather unfortunate event. At the age of 17, I had applied to Lincoln Art School, which has that magnificent cathedral. You may know Lincoln Cathedral. The art school is right there. You look out the window, there's the cathedral. I failed part of the entrance. Therefore, I did not get a scholarship. But because I didn't get a scholarship, because I was the age for national service, the infantry got me, so I had to go to the army. Whilst I was abroad in Malaya, I saved up money to go to art school when I got out. But I went to Lincoln Art School because it was my county, and my county gives out money to scholarships. Eventually, when I used my own money to go which I did initially, to go to Lincoln Art School, tutor with Anton Bartel, the county council said, "Oh, this guy's been in the army and he served in active service. Let's give him a scholarship." So I got a scholarship in the end.
And same for St. Martin's, or no? How did you get into St. Martin's?
St. Martin's was, I passed my intermediate exam, another exam, by the way, at Lincoln. You know, lettering, graphic design, clay modeling, perspective, all those little items. I wasn't very good, but you know, I was passable. I sent my portfolio. I went to London. I showed them my portfolio, and there and then they said, "You're in." I got in. You know, I got in.
Yeah.
They saw something, and then of course, then I had to move. You know, obviously, I went to London, and Pete Tish, who was with me, he was in the graphic design department. We got an apartment, and we attended. St. Martin's is, the front of St. Martin's is in Charing Cross Road, but the building itself extends into Soho in London.
What made you want to go from Skegness to London instead of going back to Skegness after the army?
There's nothing against Skegness, unless you want to work on the fairground or sell deck chairs, or be in the hospitality industry, which is Skegness is a resort. But I have worked in Skegness. I have worked on sideshows. I have worked on the fairground, and as a student, I ran a rifle range, a shooting gallery, in the summer, and I was a very good shot, by the way. It's very good, because I was shooting every day. If no one comes to my shooting gallery, I sit there and I rehearse, and there's tiny steel balls that knock down ducks and things that are traveling. You've seen a shooting gallery, right? Hurry! Get your gun! So I did work. I worked in the fairground.